Good morning everybody. Today we are going to go for the last two problems on weighted average cost of capital. Now the previous problem we studied how to calculate the weighted average cost of capital using the book value weights and the market value weights. So the same thing continues in this problem also and the next problem. All these three problems that we are studying, that is yesterday's problem and today's two problems, all these have appeared in the question paper once. So go through the problems again and again so that you are thorough in solving such types of problems. So let's begin with this first one. Okay. A company has on its books following amounts of specific costs and each type of capital. So the best thing about this particular problem is specific costs are directly been given to us. So here we need not calculate the specific cost for each and every source of capital, and the book values as well as market values are also given to us. So this is a pure problem where we directly go for the table and calculate the weighted average cost of capital. The only difference here is, if you see clearly, in the book value weights they have given both cost of equity is given as well as retained earnings is given, whereas when we consider the retained in the market value, okay, only retained earnings is given. Okay, so we have to split this retained earnings into equity and retained earnings. That is the only new thing that we are going to do in this particular problem. So let's understand this particular problem by solving it. Okay, let's read the question again. Okay, a company has on its book the following amount and specific costs for each type of capital. So there are how many sources? There are four sources: debt, preference, equity and retained earnings. Each of the amounts are given and specific costs are also given to us. So what they have asked, determine the weighted average cost of capital using book value weights and market value weights. How are they different? Can you think of a situation where the weighted average cost of capital would be same using either of the weights? Okay, so let's move on to calculate this particular problem or solve this particular problem. Okay, so first we are going to solve it using the book value weights, where everything is clearly been mentioned to us, like the sources of capital, that is debt, preference, equity and retained earnings are given to us, as well as the amount of capital are also given directly, that is 4 lakh, 1 lakh, 6 lakh and 20 lakhs. Okay, I'll just go 2 lakhs. I'll just go back to the previous so that you are clear with how did we get this amount of capital. Okay, so if you see here, the amounts of capital are already been given to us: 4 lakh, 1 lakh, 6 lakh and 2 lakhs. The same thing we are considering in the solution. Okay, 4 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 6 lakh and 2 lakhs. Okay, then specific costs are also given. If you consider, see here, the specific costs are 5%, 8%, 15% and 13%, which are already given. So 5% is nothing but 0.05, 8% is nothing but 0.08 and 15% is nothing but 0.15 and 13% is 0.13. The same thing we are considering in the solution. Okay, so if you see here, specific cost is 0.15, 0.08, 0.15, sorry 0.05, 0.08, 0.15 and 0.13. Now how do we calculate the total cost? It's simple. It's 4 lakh into 0.05 gives you 20,000, 1 lakh into 0.08 gives you 8,000, 6 lakhs into 0.15 gives you 90,000 and 2 lakhs into 0.13 gives you 26,000. So once we calculate all the total cost, we have to take the total of that, which gives us 1,44,000, and the total amount of capital is 13 lakhs. How do we calculate the weighted average cost of capital? It is the total cost divided by the total amount of capital. So 1,44,000 divided by 13 lakh gives us 0.111 or 11.1%. So the weighted average cost of capital as per the book value is 11.1%. Now let's go ahead to calculate the weighted average cost of capital using the market value weights. The entire process remains the same. I have explained it to you in the previous problem. First is serial number. So 4 sources: debt, preference, equity and retained earnings, and the market values are given to us. Okay, if you just go back to the question, see here, the market values are given to us. That is, debt is 3,80,000, preference is 1,10,000 and equity and retained earnings together is 12 lakh. Okay, so that is where we need to do some calculations. Okay, so please remember this, it is 3,80,000 for debt, preference is 1,10,000 and retained earnings is 12 lakh combined value. Okay, so if you go back to the solution, okay, the same values we have considered over here, that is debt is 3,80,000, preference is 1,10,000. Now the question is, how do we split it? How did I get this 9 lakh and 3 lakh is the question. Okay, to that I have to find out the ratio between the equity and retained earnings using the book values. Okay, so how did I find that? So using book values I have found out the ratio between equity and retained earnings. So it is 6 lakh divided by 2 lakhs, because 6 lakh is equity, retained earnings is 2 lakh. So 6 lakh divided by 2 lakh is 3:1 or 3 by 1. So your equity to retained earning ratio is 3:1. The same ratio I am considering to divide 12 lakhs which is given in the problem. I'll just go back to the problem. Okay, this 12 lakh which is given, I have to divide it in the ratio of 3:1 for equity and retained earnings specifically. Okay, so let's divide this 12 lakh in the ratio of 3:1. Okay, so for retained earnings it would be 1 by 4, and for equity it would be, for retained earnings it would be 1 by 4 and equity it would be 3 by 4. Okay, so 1 by 4 into 12 lakhs and 3 by 4 into 12 lakhs gives you 3 lakhs and 9 lakhs. Okay, I hope you're clear with this division of 12 lakh into retained earnings and equity. Okay, so we have to use the book value weights, okay, or the find out the ratio between equity and retained earnings using the book value weights. That is 6 lakh divided by 2 lakh, which is 3:1, and use the same ratio to find out how much is the retained earnings and how much is equity out of this 12 lakhs. So we get retained earnings as 3 lakh and equity as 9 lakhs. And the same thing has been considered over here. So equity is 9 lakhs and retained earnings is 3 lakhs. We have already seen that whether it is book value weights or it is market value weights, your specific cost would not change. So your specific cost would remain the same. That is 0.05, 0.05, 0.08, 0.08, 0.15, 0.15 and 0.13, 0.13. Okay. Then how do we calculate the total cost? It is multiplication. That is 3,80,000 into 0.05 gives you 19,000. 1,10,000 into 0.08 is 8,800. 9 lakh into 0.15 is 1,35,000 and 3 lakhs into 0.13 gives you 39,000. So once we calculate the total cost, take the summation of the total cost, take the summation of amount of capital. So it is 2,01,800 and 16,90,000. So 2,01,800 divided by 16,90,000 gives you 0.119 or 11.9%. So your weighted average cost of capital as per the market value weights is 11.9%. So it's actually a very simple problem. The only thing that we need to understand is how do we divide the retained earnings of 12 lakhs amongst the equity and retained earnings. So I hope you're clear with this calculation of ratio of equity and retained earnings using the book value weights and then dividing 12 lakhs in amongst retained earnings and equity. So that's it about this particular problem. Let's move ahead with the next problem. Okay, I hope you're clear with this problem first of all, so that we can go ahead with the next problem. Okay, so the next problem, a bit not clear. If you see the printing, it's not clear, but it's from Khan and Jain, Financial Management by Khan and Jain, and it's problem number 11.15. So if you are unable to read it from this particular video, you can just refer to the textbook and refer to problem number 11.15. Okay, I'll just read out the problem for you. Okay, Aries Limited wishes to raise additional finance of 10 lakhs for meeting its investment plan. It has 2,10,000. Okay, it has 2,10,000 in the form of retained earnings. Okay, so what does it say? They want 10 lakh rupees, out of which 2,10,000 they already have in the form of retained earnings. The following are the further details. So following further details are available. What are those further details? The debt equity mix should be 30:7. So they have specified that the debt equity mix should be 30:70. That is, if total is 100, then out of 100, 30 should be debt and 70 should be equity. That is what they specify. Then cost of debt up to 1,80,000 is 10%, and beyond 1,80,000 it is 12%. Okay, so they have specified, and it is before tax. Please remember this. Okay, so they have said that if you raise a debt up to 1,80,000, if your debt is totally 1,80,000 or less, then the rate of interest applicable will be 10%, and anything above 1,80,000, it will charge, the interest charge will be 12%. So first we have to find out how much is the debt and then decide how much rate of interest to be charged. Okay, then earnings per share is 4. Dividend payout is 50% of the earnings. So earnings is 4 rupees, out of which 50% is paid out as dividend. That means 4 into 50% will give you D. That is the amount of dividend. That is 2 rupees. So your amount of dividend would be 2 rupees. Please remember this. Then expected growth rate of dividend is 10%. That means dividend is given and growth rate is given. So we have to use the dividend plus growth approach to find out KE. Okay. Then current market price is 44 rupees and tax rate is 35%. So these are the details given to us, and they have asked us to calculate, determine the pattern of raising additional finance assuming firm intends to maintain the existing debt equity mix. Okay. So since they have given 30-70 ratio, we have to first find out the pattern of raising the additional finance. Second question is determine the post-tax cost of debt. So we have to find out KD after tax. Okay, KD after tax. Then determine the cost of retained earnings and cost of equity. So we have to find out KE and KR. Okay, and then lastly we have to calculate the overall cost of capital, that is weighted average cost of capital. Okay, so there are 4 answers that we have to get for this particular problem. So let's go ahead with the solution. Okay, please remember the debt equity ratio is 30:7, cost of debt varies. Okay, dividend earnings is given 4%, dividend payout is 50%, that means dividend would be 2 rupees, then it will grow at 10%, and current market price is 44 rupees, tax rate is 35%. So with these details in our mind, let's go ahead with the problem or the solution. Okay, so this is the solution. I have solved this one by one. Okay, first we have calculated the pattern of raising. Okay, so debt equity ratio is 30:70. Okay, so always remember 30:70 is nothing but debt is 30 and equity is 70. The 30:70 means it is 30 by 100 and 70 by 100. So debt is 30 by 100 into totally additional funds required is 10 lakh. So 30 by 100 into 10 lakhs is 3 lakhs. So 3 lakhs would be your debt, and 70 by 100 into 10 lakh gives you 7 lakhs. So 7 lakh would be your equity. So your debt is 3 lakhs and equity is 7 lakhs. Okay. Now equity funds. Okay. Totally we require 7 lakhs. We have to keep 7 lakhs into equity funds, or we have to collect capital from equity, totally 7 lakhs. But out of this, we already have retained earnings of 2,10,000. Correct. So 7 lakh minus 2,10,000 gives you 4,90,000. So how much equity shares do we need to issue? We need to issue equity shares worth rupees 4,90,000, because total equity funds include equity plus retained earnings. Always remember this. So the total of this is 7 lakh, out of which retained earnings given to us is 2,10,000. So what would be the equity? It is 7 lakhs minus 2,10,000. So your equity would be 4,90,000. Okay, I hope you are clear with this division of retained earnings and equity in the ratio of not in the ratio, as per the details given, that is 7 lakh is the total equity funds, out of which 2,10,000 is retained earnings. So remaining would be your equity share capital, that is 4,90,000. Coming to the debt funds again, if you remember, there is a condition. If the debt is below 1,80,000, then 10%, above 1,80,000 it is 12%. How much is the total debt that we require? We require 3 lakhs. Okay, so out of 3 lakhs, 1,80,000, which is the upper limit. For 1,80,000, the interest charge would be 10%. So what is remaining now? Out of 3 lakhs, out of 3 lakhs, 1,80,000 is removed, that is for 10%. So remaining would be 1,20,000. So what is this 1,20,000? This would be the debt which will carry a rate of interest of 12%. So 1,80,000 would be 10% and remaining 1,20,000 would be 12%. Totally it gives you 3 lakhs, and 7 lakh plus 3 lakhs gives you 10 lakhs. I hope you are clear with this pattern of raising the funds, where we divide it amongst debt and equity first in the ratio of 30:70, that is 3 lakh and 7 lakhs, and then further divide this 7 lakhs into retained earnings and equity, and this 3 lakhs into 10% debt and 12% debt, because of the upper limit given to us for debt, that is anything below 1,80,000 would attract a rate of interest of 10%, and above 1,80,000 it would be 12%. So above 1,80,000 it is 1,20,000, because totally it is 3 lakh, out of which 1,80,000 is removed, so remaining is 1,20,000. So on 1,20,000 the rate of interest would be 12%. Then we have to, the second question asked to us is calculate cost of debt, cost of equity and cost of retained earnings. Now here cost of debt, they have not given maturity, that means they are irredeemable. They have said they have not given anything about premium and discount, that means they are issued at par. So what is the simple formula that we have used? We have used the formula of R into 1 minus T. I hope you remember this formula. So this simple formula, R is 10%. Now we have to calculate cost of debt for two, that is 10% debt and 12% debt separately. We cannot combine them. Okay, so 10% debt, rate of interest is 10%, so 0.10 into 1 minus 0.35, because tax rate given to us is 35%. So 1 minus 0.35 is 0.65, 0.65 into 0.10 is 0.065 or 6.5%. Similarly, we have to do it for 12% debt. So 0.12 into 1 minus 0.35 gives us 0.65. So 0.65 into 0.12 gives us 0.078 or 7.8%. So the specific cost of debt is 6.5% for 10% debt and 7.8% for 12% debt. Then we go ahead to calculate the cost of equity. Now if you remember the question, okay, they had clearly said that the earnings is 4 rupees and dividend payout is 50%. So if you remember, I had calculated the dividend. So dividend would be what? Dividend would be earnings into dividend payout. So earnings is 4 rupees into dividend payout is 50%. That means your dividend would be 2 rupees. Okay. So dividend is given to us. Then expected growth rate in dividend is 10%. That means it is dividend plus growth approach to find out KE. Okay. So with this basic, let's go ahead with the solution. How do we calculate cost of equity now? You have to use the dividend plus growth approach. Okay. So what is the dividend? It is 2 rupees. We have already calculated dividend because the earnings was 4 rupees and into dividend payout was 50%. So 4 rupees into 50% gives you 2 rupees. So 2 rupees is your dividend. Then divided by market price. Market price is already given to us, that is 44 rupees. If you see over here, the market price is already given, which is 44 rupees. And growth rate is also given to us. If you go back to the question, okay, see here the growth rate is also given as 10%. Okay, so with this, with the use of this, we go ahead with the solution. Okay, so 2 rupees is the dividend, we have calculated that. 44 is the market price and 10% is the expected growth rate. So if you simplify this, we get 0.1455 or 14.55% as your cost of equity. Once we are done with the cost of equity, the last one which is remaining is cost of retained earnings. Now we already know the formula for KR is KE into 1 minus T into 1 minus B. Now here T is not your corporate tax rate, it is not 35%. T here represents the individual tax rate, which is not given to us. The individual tax rate is not given. Brokerage is also not given. B represents brokerage, if you remember, right? So B is not given. So what would be your KR? It is 0.1455, that is cost of equity, into 1 minus 0, because T is not given. So 0, we assume it as 0, and brokerage is also not given. So we assume it as 0 again. So 1 minus 0 is 1, 1 minus 0 is 1. So 0.1455 into 1 into 1 is 0.1455 or 14.55%. So since the individual tax rate and brokerage is not given, whatever is your cost of equity, the same would be your cost of retained earnings. I hope you are clear with the calculation of these specific cost of debt at 10%, debt at 12%, cost of equity and cost of retained earnings. Now let's move ahead to the last part, that is calculating the weighted average cost of capital. Okay, so there are how many sources? There are totally 4 sources. Now how 4 sources? Retained earnings is there, equity is there, and there are 2 debts, that is 10% debt and 12% debt. So it becomes 4 sources, 1, 2, 3 and 4 sources. Okay, so let's see, your sources is 4, that is equity, retained earnings, 10% debt and 12% debt. Then your amount of capital, we have already segregated it over here. Equity is 4,90,000, so 4,90,000. Retained earnings is 2,10,000, so 2,10,000 mentioned over here. Then 10% debt, 1,80,000, so 1,80,000, and 12% debt is 1,20,000, so 1,20,000. Okay. Specific cost, we have already calculated the specific cost over here. So what is the specific cost of equity? Specific cost of equity is given over here, that is 1.1455. Cost of retained earnings is also given over here, that is we have calculated the cost of retained earnings, that is 0.1455, that is 14.5%. Then we have calculated the cost of 10% debt, which is over here. Cost of 10% debt is 0.065 or 6.5%, and cost of 12% debt is 7.8% or 0.078. So these things we have already calculated in part B and part C, question number B and question number C. What is the last step now? Multiply the amount of capital with the specific cost. Okay, so what is the amount of capital here? 4,90,000 into 0.1445 gives us 71,295. 2,10,000 into 0.1455 gives us 30,555. Then 1,80,000 into 0.065 gives us 11,700, and 1,20,000 into 0.078 gives us 9,360. Then we take the summation of that, which is 1,22,910, and the summation of capital we already know it is 10 lakhs. So 10 lakhs. So finally we calculate that the weighted average cost of capital, that is 1,22,910 divided by 10 lakh gives us 0.123 or 12.3%. So this is how we overall calculate the weighted average cost of capital when the pattern of when we have to use the pattern of division and then calculate the specific cost and then overall cost of capital. I hope you're clear with this. A bit different problem but not so difficult problem, because here we know debt equity ratio divided, then we know that equity funds include retained earnings and equity, so subdivided again 7 lakh into retained earnings which is already given and equity shares, so 7 lakh minus 2,10,000 is 4,90,000. Then debt funds, they have given a condition that if the debt amount is 1,80,000, if the debt amount is 1,80,000, then the interest charge would be 10%. Anything above that would attract an interest of 12%. So similarly, we have divided that into 1,80,000 and the remaining, that is 3 lakh minus 1,80,000, 1,20,000 as 12% debt. Then we have calculated the cost of debt for 10% separate, for 12% separate, and cost of equity with dividend plus growth approach, and then cost of retained earnings. Finally, we have calculated the weighted average cost of capital, which comes to 12.3%. I hope you are clear with this calculation. With this problem, we are coming to the end of the module on cost of capital. Totally, we have solved many problems on specific cost of debt, equity, preference, retained earnings. Then we went on to calculate weighted average cost of capital. We have solved many problems over there. I hope you are clear with all the problems that we have solved. Now you have to solve all the problems which are given in the assignments. You have to complete the assignments, and the date of submission of the assignments would be notified to you, okay, through messages. I hope this particular chapter or module on cost of capital is clear. Thank you.